We will continue with our discussion regarding mapping of local indices to global indices. So we have seen that if this was, say, the true solution for the differential equation, we essentially approximated this true solution by dividing, if this was, say, the domain itself into finite number of subdomains, and then we approximated to each of these subdomains a kind of polynomial approximation. So instead of going for the entire domain with a single approximating polynomial, we decided that we will go for a low order polynomial that is valid only in a given subdomain. And application of discretization strategy, that is approximation through either D form, V form or M form, will result in kind of algebraic equation that is only valid in that particular subdomain to which it is applied. So we will actually have a characteristic algebraic equation for each subdomain we choose. And we also notice that the subdomain, for instance, this node will be impacted by this node and this node. So this is what I mean by local indices. That is, I have an algebraic equation for this particular node written down in terms of its neighbors. Likewise, for this has these two as the neighbors. Like for this node has these two as the neighbors. So essentially, by applying the discretization strategy to the equation for each subdomain, I essentially get a single algebraic equation per domain. Now the task is how to map this local equation to the global domain. For instance, to make it much more clear, we will take a simple example. Say we have something like this. Say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, say 5 nodes, and this is, say, some kind of computational domain, and these are, and we have discretized this physical domain or geometric domain into 5 subdomains. Now for instance, we want to establish the connectivity relationship of 3. So we know that if we want to write down the equation for the interpolation polynomial for, say, this element 3, we know that T approximate should be equal to A1, so A3, T3. So I should write down again T approximate for node 3. So this is the interpolating function particularly for node 3. So this should be essentially, now 3 itself, so I write down 3, 3, T 3 plus what else? 3 is impacting 5, so it should be A3, 5, T5 plus it is impacting 2, A3, 2, T2. It is connecting 1 also, plus A31, T1 plus some constant, say C. So this is what we will finally get as the algebraic equation. So this equals 0. This represents the algebraic equation for node 3, which we have found through putting T approximate in the D form, V form or M form of the equation. So please remember, as such, we might have T approximate as something like A1 T1 plus A2 T2 and so on. And for particularly for node 3, we will put this T approximate in the governing differential equation, say in V form or say in D form or M form, and then equate it equal to 0. By doing this stuff, we will essentially get an algebraic equation of such type. So please try to understand the difference between the approximating polynomial in the subdomain and the resulting algebraic equation which we get after we have put that T approximate in this subdomain. Now the key point here is the subdomain will be only, I am writing down subdomain, it is say S, this domain. That is, this integral now is calculated for each subdomain. Now this is not the entire domain but the subdomain. Now likewise we will have such kind of algebraic equations for each other node, that is 2, 4, 5, 1, depending on how they are connected to their neighboring elements. Now here we get essentially 5 algebraic equations. Now the next step is how to assemble these equations so that we form a global matrix that is applicable to the entire domain, not only to the subdomain. So we are progressively going from subdomain level information to the total domain level information through these algebraic equations which are valid for a given subdomain. Now let's try to write down, say I have something like this as my global matrix, and here I have what is to be found, say T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, and here I have some constants, say C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. So I should have written here, because this is equation for 3, so I'm writing down here, say C3. Now what I'm seeing here is, in case of temperature 3, that is, this algebraic equation will occupy the third row in this global matrix. So I know that coefficients of T3, T5, T2, T1 should be non-zero and rest should be 0, because for instance T3 does not have any impact directly of element 4. So I will not write down the coefficient of T4 here. So this is the first, so I am writing down for much clarity. So this is for T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. I divide this into 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So in the third row, which is corresponding to T3, I have A31. Then for 2 I have A32. For 3 I have A33. I don't have any coefficient that is non-zero for A34, so I will put 0 here. Then for A35 I have 45, I have A35. Likewise I will do for other nodes as well. So let's do it for say another node. Say for instance I want to write down for node 1. Then for node 1, which is a connecting element, so node 1 is connected to 3. So essentially I will have A11. I don't have any connection with 2 directly as such, so I have 0. With 3 it is A13. 3. I don't have any connection with 4 and 5 or 1 directly, so I have 0, 0. Likewise, I will fill all other rows. So essentially, the entire process has eventually transformed into a global matrix such that all my unknowns, that is temperature here at all the elements, can be evaluated through this system of equations. Now that we have got this global system of equations, you might be wondering that what is it that dictates that what coefficients we will get. So there are two things. One is what profile we choose, that is what profile do we choose in each subdomain, and which method do we employ to derive the algebraic equations. So these are the two key parameters that dictate that what kind of discretized matrix or what kind of discretized set of equations we will get. For instance, if I chose, instead of say this was my original interpolating function for this, instead of this I chose something like this. So this will dictate what kind of algebraic equation do I get. And moreover, even if I have the same interpolating function, but I can have different resulting algebraic equations depending on which methods to derive these discretized equations. So in terms of methods, what methods do I have? I have something called I have D form, V form and M form. So which form do I essentially apply to get the discretized equation, and what profile do I choose in each subdomain will essentially dictate what kind of algebraic equations will I get. And interestingly, it is essentially the choice of these two parameters which results in the well-known discretization methods, that is FEM, FVM or FDM. So it is essentially the choice of these two parameters which results in one of these three methods. So all these methods, discretization methods, they are different from each other only with respect to the kind of interpolating profile chosen in the subdomain and the method used to derive the discretization equations in each subdomain. And moreover, if I say keep on increasing the number of elements, say this was the entire domain in which you wanted to find out temperature, you could have, instead of these 5 elements, I could have divided this computational domain into much larger number of elements. So if I have more number of elements or subdomains, it essentially means that I will be much close to the exact solution of differential equation. So please remember, although the discretized equations depend on which profile and what kind of profile I choose and what kind of discretization method I use, but in the limiting case, when I increase the subdomains to a certain level, all the methods which may be employing different discretization solving strategies or different subdomain profiles, they will eventually result in same algebraic equations. So this is the beauty of numerical methods, that all those seemingly different numerical methods, they will actually approximate to same set of algebraic equations, because that actually corresponds to the exact solution of the differential equation when I increase the number of subdomains. So this should be kept in mind. So if I have sufficiently large number of subdomains, then it doesn't matter through which route I have gone to find out the dependent variable values. Now, the next step is, we have essentially found that through this kind of procedure, we are actually getting a kind of set of algebraic equations. The next natural step should be how to solve this algebraic system of equations. So it is in matrix form. So naturally we have been conversant from our high school mathematics, that is, we have something called matrix inversion. So this is a kind of direct method to find out the unknown parameters. But during computer programming implementation, matrix inversion method is not considered to be an efficient method. And then we go for what are called iterative methods. So in iterative methods, what we do is, instead of taking the inverse as we did in matrix inversion method, we guess the values of coefficients and then we iterate up till a point until and unless we get converging results. So these will be dealt in detail in subsequent discussions, but as of now it should be clear that the set of algebraic equations that we get after mapping from local to global indices procedure, we essentially solve these equations using direct or indirect methods. So in direct, an example is matrix inversion. In indirect, it is iterative methods. So to summarize what we have covered in the previous lecture as well as in the present lecture, we have actually gone through a journey in which we took an example of a circuit board which was having some kind of microprocessors and heat sinks. Then we did some kind of geometric modeling and physical modeling to simplify the geometry as well as the physics part of it. Then we went for domain discretization and equation discretization. And finally, when we got set of algebraic equations, we resorted to either matrix inversion or iterative methods to solve the set of algebraic equations. So it is essentially this lower part that forms the basis for different discretization methods that are famously known as finite element method, finite difference method, and finite volume method. So it is the combination of these three that actually differentiates what kind of method will it eventually result in. So this is a kind of flow chart. Any kind of physical phenomena will have some kind of physical domain and the physics that is dictated by physical phenomena. Then we will do domain modeling and physical modeling that will result in set of governing differential equations over the computational domain. Then we will do the domain discretization and equation discretization. This will result in system of algebraic equations. Then we'll apply direct or indirect methods to solve system algebraic equations, and finally we get the numerical solutions. So in a sense, this is the strategy we followed. This is the strategy we follow in nearly all the discretization methods, be it FEM, FDM, or FEM.